Let's move on now with some impressive moves from our business editor, Stephen Carroll. Hi there.
Hello.
You're going to be impressing us more with your business dexterity rather than your acrobatics, I hope.
I wish I could do that, but no, I don't think there's any chance of me being able to.
If you ever want to present the business news that way, we're up for it.
That's good to know. We're going to start, though, talking about Barcelona and Airbnb. Homeowners in the city will only be able to rent out one property on the website from May of this year. It's part of an overhaul that's aimed at separating professional landlords from regular users of the website. Airbnb is also going to start collecting tourist taxes directly from those booking on the site, as it does in many other cities. The company's come in for fierce criticism from Barcelona's authorities. It was fined €600,000 last year for advertising illegal rentals. The site has 20,000 listings in the Spanish city. Barcelona's head of tourism described these new measures, though, as a joke, calling on the website to stop listing apartments that don't have permits to be rented out for holidays.
All right, on the other edge of Europe, in Greece, the finance minister there is not too pleased, it would seem, with the latest assessment coming from the IMF.
Tsakalatos says the International Monetary Fund's analysis didn't take account of reforms that have been undertaken by the Greek government over the past 2 years. The report says that Greece's debts could reach explosive levels by 2020 without major debt relief. But the finance minister says the view is misleading and overly pessimistic. The IMF is at loggerheads with EU creditors over the issue of reducing Greece's debt burden. The dispute has sent Greece's borrowing costs higher, making a return to financial markets for the country more unlikely.
All right, we'll take us through what's happening on the markets this Wednesday.
European shares opening the day in the green. Mining companies leading the gains. That's down to Rio Tinto. More on their results in a moment. Air France KLM in Paris, meanwhile, up 3% at the open after its latest traffic figures, or passenger figures, I should say, for January. Over in Asia, early falls in the session were wiped out as the day went on. We had the Nikkei in Tokyo finishing up by 0.5%, gains too in Shanghai and on the Hang Seng in Hong Kong. Just the Kospi and Seoul are down 0.5%.
All right, you got a story from India for us next. So business is all about seeing an opportunity and seizing it, isn't it? Some startups in India are looking to try and get into a bit of a niche that they think might have opened up thanks to one of those executive orders from Donald Trump.
Donald Trump wants to reform the H-1B visa, which is the main one used by technology companies to bring in foreign workers. That would affect India more than other countries, as they have the biggest take-up of that particular kind of visa. But that could benefit startups at home, as Delano D'Souza now explains.
Across the world from Silicon Valley, a new tech trend is emerging out of India. The country has become home to over 4,000 startups. Many in India's IT capital, Bangalore, are hoping they've got the next big idea. But grooming the right talent doesn't come easy.
If we can figure out some mechanism where we can get these people, nurture them, and if we can have some kind of an ecosystem support for them, I think we can get some good companies out of India.
IT students from India have traditionally headed to the United States for higher learning before winding up in Silicon Valley. But Donald Trump's efforts to limit immigration could create a roadblock, and a new path to success may need to be found. Some currently studying in the US, meanwhile, say they're happy about what's emerging from India.
It's actually not what I expected it to be. I thought that they would be a little bit behind, but they're actually working just as hard, and there's really cool stuff coming out of India as well these days.
For now, India ranks third behind the United States and Britain for tech startups, but it's a ranking that could shift. By 2020, between 200 and 250,000 people are expected to be working in the sector, double the current number.
Some more of the day's business headlines for you now. Sales at the French luxury brand Hermès passed a record €5 billion last year. That's an increase of 7.5%, slightly less than in 2015. Ahead of the publication of the company's annual results next month, Hermès says it was slightly more profitable in 2016 than a year before. And profits were up 12% at mining giant Rio Tinto last year, thanks to a rebound in commodity prices. The company announced it'd buy back $500 million in shares as a result. Rio Tinto had announced $5 billion of cost-cutting last year because of those low prices.
All right, you've got a bit of a forward-looking, futuristic story next for us here in France, a company where robots have apparently created jobs.
Now, a report from the World Economic Forum says that automation and artificial intelligence will kill 5 million jobs in developed economies by 2020. It affects every industry, but manufacturing, I should say, in particular. The French company, though, has gone a different route. They've used robots to expand their business and create hundreds of new jobs. Solange Mougin has the story.
Tucked in this valley in eastern France, the manufacturer Schmidt built their first factory here 60 years ago. Since then, a second, third, and fourth have seen the light of day. But to stay competitive and to keep their manufacturing jobs from moving abroad, they're now investing in robots. This one replaced some 30 workers. Now it takes the company just 12 hours to build a customized kitchen. It used to take 7 days. Yet the robots haven't killed jobs, they've done just the opposite. Schmidt's expansion has tripled its workforce to 1,500 employees, with around 100 new skilled workers brought in every year. Pierre Jeunet, a technology engineer, is one of the new hires.
Here we've reached a technical level in technology that's quite impressive. It's not every day that we get to work with machines like this. It's pretty rare.
As the robots take over, less qualified workers are being retrained. One of them is Baptiste Gentre. In the coming weeks, a robot will move these boards, and he will be controlling it.
I think it's good for us, for our health and all that.
Strategic choices that were made by the granddaughter of Schmidt's founder.
For obvious economic reasons, we have to automate. It's not a choice, it's about survival.
A vision that seems to be working. The company will be opening a 5th factory in France in 2019.
Finally, for me, a study showing that talking about politics at work might not be a good idea. This is a survey by Better Works. It found almost a third of employees in America say they've been less productive since the November presidential election. That's linked, the study says, to people being distracted by politics on social media. 87% of those surveyed are reading political posts on social media during the working day. 3/4 of them are discussing politics with their colleagues. Apparently that makes you less productive. I don't think it applies to us.
No, I think I'm contractually obliged to talk about politics at work. So hopefully still as productive as ever. Thanks very much. Very productive business news there from Stephen Carroll.